Hello friends, myself Ashok Bagda from Dr. Subhash Technical Campus, and today we are going to discuss about gyroscope. So in today's lecture we will see a first part of gyroscope. So let us start. So in a gyroscope we are going to discuss about introduction, gyroscopic couple, effect of gyroscopic couple on an aeroplane, effect of gyroscopic couple on an naval ship during steering, effect of gyroscopic couple on a naval ship during pitching, effect of gyroscopic couple on a naval ship during rolling, and effect of gyroscopic couple on a automobile. So dear friends, we have already experienced this effect of gyroscopic couple when we are riding our bike on a road. So we always know that when we ride our bike on a curved surface, then we experience this effect, gyroscopic couple. So this gyroscopic couple effect is also used in a aeroplane, in a naval ship, in an automobile. Okay, so let us discuss about in today's session we are going to discuss about introduction, gyroscopic couple, and effect of gyroscopic couple on an aeroplane. So first of all, let us see, before starting a gyroscope, let us understand about angular velocity representation. So the right hand screw rule can be used when direction must be determined based upon a rotational direction or vice versa. So we know that if we want to represent an angular velocity on the paper, then we can represent this angular velocity by using a vector. So we know that angular velocity is also vector quantity, and a linear velocity is also a vector quantity. So if we want to represent a velocity on a paper, then we need two things. One is a magnitude and another one is a direction. But in case of angular velocity, the angular velocity of a rotating body is specified by first the magnitude of velocity, second the direction of axis of rotor, and third the sense of rotation of rotor. That means if we know three things, magnitude, direction, and the sense of rotation, then we can represent angular velocity by a vector. So here, as seen in figure, here we have considered one wheel. This wheel is rotating in clockwise direction about this axis. So if we see from the top end, then we can represent, if we see from the top end, then we see that this wheel is rotating in clockwise direction. Now according to the right hand screw rule, we can plot this angular velocity on a paper by means of vector. So we know that our wheel is rotating in clockwise direction when we see from the top end. So curl your fingers by using, so we use right hand screw rule. So curl your fingers of right hand in the direction of rotation of wheel, then the direction of thumb is the direction of vector. So here we have seen that this is our right hand, the fingers are curled in the direction of rotation, and so this is the direction of thumb. So AB, so our angular velocity of this wheel is AB. So here we have select some scale. So because angular velocity having some known magnitude, so by selecting scale we draw AB vector. Okay, so AB vector represents the direction of angular velocity of this wheel, and this clockwise sense shows the rotation, or we can say that sense of the rotation. So this is nothing but it is a representation of angular velocity and this principle we used in later on. When a body moves along a curved path with uniform linear velocity, a force in the direction of centripetal force has to be applied externally over a body so that it moves along the required curved path. This external force applied is known as active force. So, my dear friends, when we ride a bike or an automobile, then in a curved surface, then one force is active force, another one is a reactive force. So, we know that when we taking a turn on a road, then we tilt our bike. So, this tilting is nothing but we have applied reactive force. Okay. So, when a body itself is moving with uniform linear velocity along a circular path, it is subjected to a centrifugal force radially outwards, and this centrifugal force is called reactive force, and the action of the reactive force is to tilt or move a body along a radially outward direction. Now, precessional angular motion. So, let us consider one rotor. This rotor is rotating along the x-axis, and we see this is the direction of viewing. So, we are here, and when we see from the x direction, when we see from this end, then the rotor is rotating in clockwise direction. So, the angular acceleration is the rate of change of angular velocity with respect to time. So, we know that acceleration, what is acceleration? That means the angular acceleration is the rate of change of angular velocity with respect to time. So, we know that if we know the displacement, then we can calculate velocity by so velocity is nothing but it is a rate of change of displacement with respect to time. In same way, acceleration is also rate of change of velocity with respect to time. So, angular acceleration is the rate of change of angular velocity with respect to time. Now, let us consider a disc as shown in figure A, revolving or spinning about the axis OX in anti-clockwise direction when seen from the front with an angular velocity in the plane at right angle to the paper. So, let us consider this is a rotor, and this rotor is rotating in clockwise direction when we see from this end, okay, with an angular velocity omega. So, this OX will become axis of spin. Okay. So, now if we want to represent the angular velocity of this rotor, then if we represent the angular velocity of rotor by using right hand screw rule, then OX is a angular velocity vector. So, OX, we represent the angular velocity of the rotor by OX, and it is omega. Now, if the axis of spin is displaced from its position through a delta theta angle, then the new axis of spin is OX dash. Now, on this axis, the rotor will be rotated through an angular velocity omega plus delta W. So, the new angular velocity of rotor is omega plus delta W. So, omega plus delta W. So, now we represent this omega plus delta W angular velocity of rotor after changing the axis of spin through an angle delta theta. Then this OX dash will represent the new angular velocity of rotor. So, the x dash is a change in the angular velocity x dash. So, x dash is nothing but this OR minus OX. So, we can say that this OR is omega plus delta W, it is a new angular velocity, and omega is original angular velocity. So, the difference between these two velocities is change in velocity. So, component of angular acceleration in the direction of OX. So, alpha t, it is a angular acceleration. So, we know that first of all XR is a change in velocity upon delta t. So, change in velocity upon delta t, it is angular acceleration. So is nothing but, from figure we can say that OR minus OX. So OR minus OX is a change in velocity divided by delta t. So is equal to OR is nothing but OX dash into cos delta theta minus OX upon delta t. So if we put the value OX dash, then OX dash is in bracket omega plus delta w bracket complete into cos delta theta minus omega upon delta t. So if we simplify, then we get omega cos delta theta plus delta omega cos delta theta minus omega upon delta t. So alpha t is equal to, we get omega. So here delta theta is very small, so we consider delta theta is near about 0, so we replace cos delta theta as a 1. So omega plus delta omega minus omega upon delta t is equal to delta omega by delta t. So angular acceleration is equal to delta omega upon delta t. In the limit, when a delta t is 0, delta t tends to 0, then we can represent alpha t is equal to limit delta t tends to 0, delta omega upon delta t is equal to delta omega upon delta t. And alpha c. So there are two component of acceleration, one is the alpha t and another is the alpha c. So alpha c is rx dash, so here one is the xr, another one is the this one rx dash. So we have discussed about rx dash, now xr. So rx dash upon delta t. So we can say that rx dash is ox dash into sine delta theta upon delta t. So we obtain omega plus delta omega into sine delta theta upon delta theta. So if we simplify, then we get omega into sine delta theta plus delta omega into sine delta theta divided by delta theta. So in the limit, when delta t tends to 0, then we can say that alpha c is equal to limit delta t tends to 0 into omega delta theta upon delta t. So here we replace sine delta theta as a delta theta, because theta is very small, so we can say that sine theta is equal to theta. So here we represent sine delta theta is equal to delta theta. So omega delta theta upon delta t. So we get omega into delta theta d theta by dt. So omega is the angular velocity and d theta by dt. So here delta theta is a angular rotation of axis of spin. So we can say that d theta by dt is nothing but it is a angular velocity of axis of spin. So we represent omega p. So omega p is the angular velocity of precision or a axis of spin. So total angular acceleration of this, we consider the sum of two vectors. So vector x dash, so is equal to, we can say that vector sum of alpha t and alpha c. So d omega by dt plus omega into d theta by dt is equal to d omega by dt plus omega into omega p. So this is a total acceleration. This is a total acceleration of disk. Now this angular velocity of axis of spin is known as the angular velocity of precession. The angular velocity of axis of spin, that means here we see that this is the axis of spin, our rotor is rotating about this axis. So OX is the axis of spin and this OX axis is rotating through a delta theta about this axis, about Z axis. Okay, so this is X, this is Y and this is Z. So OX is rotating about Z axis, so this is known as the axis of precession. So angular velocity of axis of spin is known as the angular velocity of precession. The axis about which axis of spin is turned is known as the axis of precession. The angular motion of axis of spin about axis of precession is known as a precessional angular motion. The axis of precession is perpendicular to the plane in which the axis of spin is going to rotate. Okay. Now if the angular velocity of disk remains constant at all positions, of the axis of spin, then d by dt is 0 and thus the alpha c is 0. So now if let us consider this case, if the change in velocity after rotation of delta theta of the axis of spin is remain also same, then we can say that d theta by dt is omega p. It is a angular velocity of axis of spin. So d omega by dt is 0. So we can say that only the acceleration become omega into omega p. So angular acceleration is equal to omega into omega p. Now gyroscopic couple. So my dear friends, here we see the gyroscopic couple. So this is a rotor is rotating about this axis, okay, this is another axis, okay. So this is a rotation of rotor about this axis. Now if we rotate the axis of spin through an angle, then some effect may be developed. So in here the axis of rotor, it is also rotating about another axis. Consider disc spinning with an angular velocity omega radian per second about axis of spin OX in anti-clockwise direction when seen from the front as shown in figure. So here let us consider a rotor. Rotor is rotating in anti-clockwise direction when it is seen from this end. So OX is the axis of spin. Since the plane in which disc is rotating is parallel to the plane YOZ, therefore it is called plane of spinning. So here this disc is rotating in this plane, YOZ plane. So YOZ plane is known as a spinning plane of spinning. When this rotor is this axis of rotor, or we can say that axis of spin is rotating through a delta theta angle, and the new axis of spin is OX dash. Okay, so this y axis, it is known as the axis of active gyroscopic couple, okay, and y axis, it is also known as the axis of precession, because this axis of spin is rotated through this angle, this axis, y axis. So it is known as the axis of spin. Okay, so this OXZ is known as a plane of precession. Okay, and this is the direction of viewing. Now let us consider, so if we want to represent the angular velocity of rotor, by using right hand screw rule, then we can represent. So we represent OX is the angular velocity of rotor. Now when the axis of spin is displaced through a delta theta angle, that means when we rotate axis of spin, then the angular velocity of rotor remain as it is. Okay, so OX dash, it is the angular velocity of rotor when the axis of rotation of disc is displaced. So in this case XX dash is a active gyroscopic couple. So XX dash is an active gyroscopic couple, and in the opposite direction to this active gyroscopic couple, reactive couple is generated. Now let us see, the change in angular momentum is equal to OX minus OX dash minus OX. So it is XX dash. This is a change in angular momentum. So we know that OX into delta theta. Now OX, we know that OX is nothing but it is I into omega, change in angular momentum. So rate of change of angular momentum is equal to I omega into delta theta by dt. So couple is equal to limit delta t tends to 0, I into omega delta theta upon delta t. So we can say that delta theta by delta t, when we consider limit delta t tends to 0, then we can say that d theta by dt. So I omega into d theta by dt. So here I omega and d theta by dt, it is nothing but it is the angular velocity of axis of rotation of axis of spin. That means it is a angular velocity of precession. So I omega into omega p, it is a rate of change of angular momentum, or we can say that it is a active gyroscopic couple. Plane x o y is called plane of active gyroscopic couple. So here plane x o y. So this plane is a plane of active gyroscopic couple, and axis OZ perpendicular to the plane XOY about which couple act is called axis of active gyroscopic couple. When the axis of spin itself move with angular velocity p, the disk is subjected to a reactive gyroscopic couple whose magnitude is same but opposite in the direction that of from active couple. Now let us see the effect of gyroscopic couple on an aeroplane. So this is a simple aeroplane, okay, and this is the rotor of aeroplane. This is the rotor of aeroplane. So this is nose end. We always consider this is the tail end. Okay, when we see from this end, when we see from tail end, this is a tail end and this is a nose end, and this is a rotor. Rotor is rotating in this direction, in clockwise direction. So in this case, so this is a top view and this is a front view. So if we see from the tail end, then we can say that our rotor is rotating in clockwise direction. Our rotor is rotating in of clockwise direction. So OX become axis of spin. Now when our aeroplane taking a left turn, then it is turned about vertical axis. So this vertical axis is known as the axis of precession, and in this direction some active gyroscopic couple is generated. So OZ will become axis of active gyroscopic couple. So let us see an effect of gyroscopic effect on an aeroplane. The top and front view of an aeroplane is shown in figure. Let us engine or propeller rotates in clockwise direction when seen from the rear or tail end, an aeroplane taking a turn to the left. So let us consider some notation. Omega is the angular velocity of engine in a radian per second. M is the mass of engine and propeller in the kg. Small k, it's a radius of gyration in meter. I is a mass moment of inertia of engine and propeller, and mass moment of inertia is equal to m into k square. Small v is the linear velocity of aeroplane in meter per second. Small capital R is the radius of curvature in meter. Omega p is the angular velocity of precession, and we know that it is omega p is equal to velocity, linear velocity divided by radius of curvature. So gyroscopic couple acting on the aeroplane, we have derived this equation. Gyroscopic couple is equal to I omega into omega p. So let us consider this is aeroplane, this is the tail end, this is the nose end, and this is our rotor. So when we see from the when we see from the tail end, then the rotor is rotating in clockwise direction as shown in figure. So rotor is rotating in clockwise direction when we see from the tail end, then we can represent the angular velocity of rotor as a vector OA, in this direction according to the right hand screw rule. Okay. Now when this aeroplane is taking left turn, when aeroplane is taking left turn, then the change in velocity, then OB, it is also represent the angular velocity of rotor when aeroplane taking a left turn. Okay, so AB is nothing but a change in velocity. Okay, and because of this, AB is an active gyroscopic couple, and this B dash A dash is known as a reactive gyroscopic couple. So we know the reactive gyroscopic direction of reactive gyroscopic couple, and if here we use a right hand screw rule, then what happen? Then we can say that when here we use right hand screw rule, then it will definitely lower the tail and up the nose. Okay. So from this reactive gyroscopic couple, B dash A dash is a reactive gyroscopic couple. Now if we use a right hand screw rule in this reactive gyroscopic couple, then we can say that in this case, so here in this case, when our aeroplane taking a left turn in this direction and we are viewing from tail end, our rotor is rotating in clockwise direction, then because of this reactive gyroscopic couple, the nose will the tail will depress and the nose will okay. So this is our aeroplane, this is a tail end and this is a blow end or a nose end. Okay, so now we can represent the angular velocity of rotor by using right hand screw rule. So OA is the angular velocity of rotor, so we represent the angular velocity of rotor by the OA vector. Now when this aeroplane is taking left turn, when our aeroplane is taking left turn, then OB, we can say that OB is the angular velocity of rotor when it is taking a left turn. So AB is an active gyroscopic couple and B dash A dash is a reactive gyroscopic couple. So now if we apply a right hand screw rule on B dash A dash reactive gyroscopic couple, then we can say that the nose will depressed, the tail will depress and nose will raise. So this is the case when aeroplane taking a left turn and our rotor is rotating in clockwise direction. So when engine or a propeller rotates in anti-clockwise direction, when viewed from the rear or tail end, aeroplane takes a left turn, then when the engine or a propeller rotates in anti-clockwise direction and viewed from the rear or tail end, then the aeroplane takes a left turn. When aeroplane takes a left turn, then when aeroplane takes left turn, then tail will be raised and nose will be depressed. Similarly, when aeroplane takes right turn, then what happen? Then tail will depress and nose will raised. When the engine propeller is rotating in clockwise direction when viewed from the front and aeroplane takes a left turn, then we can say that so by using this principle, by using this explanation, you can imagine what will be the effect of gyroscopic couple when aeroplane taking left or right turn. Now let us see one video about the gyroscopic effect on an aeroplane.